Welcome back. History beckons for Manchester City as they look to rewrite the history books. Pep Guardiola and company take on Inter Milan this evening, looking to win City's first UEFA Champions League title. Much is at stake for the club and manager. Victory will see the English champions seal the famous treble, becoming only the second side from the United Kingdom to achieve the feat, the first being their city rivals Manchester United. While Guardiola will become the fourth manager in history to win 3 Champions League titles. The only other men to do it, Carlo Ancelotti, he's got 4, Zinedine Zidane got 3 on the trot, and Bob Paisley did it all the way back in the 1960s. For Inter, this is their chance to end Italy's 13-year Champions League drought, with their Serie A side being the last one to win it in 2010. To preview this showdown happening in Istanbul, I'm joined by football journalist Oma Akatugba. A very good morning to you, Oma. Thank you so much for joining us. Just straight into it.
Good morning.
Can Man City do it?
Good
Can
morning.
Man City defy, the odds? Can they do what they couldn't do in 2021?
I think that they can. I think that they've got the capacity, they've got the squad, they've got the players, they've got the manager. The only thing that I've been lacking is the mentality, and I hope that they bring the right mentality to Istanbul. Everyone points towards Man City. I think that they can do it. Something tells me that this is the time for Pep Guardiola to win his first Champions League title for the Etihad-sponsored football club.
It's been 13 years since a Serie A side won the title, and the last time it was won by a Serie A side, it was the very side that is in the final today. That is Inter Milan. Juventus came close a couple of times. They did lose to Barcelona in 2015. They went on to lose a couple of years later to Real Madrid as well. So it's been a drought for Italian football. How does Inter stop Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva? How do they stop Riyad Mahrez coming off the bench potentially? And then most importantly, how do they stop Erling Haaland?
I think to stop them, they have to play, they have to defend resolutely. And of course, they've shown that they have the best defense in the tournament. They've conceded the less number of goals. They've kept 8 clean sheets on their way to the final. So you want to look at a team like Inter that is very plucky, that is very resolute, that is very robust in how they defend. And I think that's all they need to do to stop these players you've mentioned. Don't forget that Erling Haaland has scored 12 goals in the Champions League this season. Of course, he's gone 2 games without a goal, but he's never gone 3 games without a goal in his Champions League career. So that is some note of warning to Inter Milan. But I think that they have to do more than, the ordinary. No room for mistakes. But of course, I want to say that in Man City, they are facing their stiffest opposition yet in this tournament. Let's also not forget that the stiffest opposition they faced before now was Bayern Munich, and they lost. That says something about the strength of Inter Milan. But hey, this is a final. It's a one-game affair. Anything can happen. It's football. You cannot predict. But when you look at the form, you look at the quality, you look at the players, you want to put your money on Man City. But again, like I said, it's difficult to stick out your neck on this one.
Pep Guardiola got it wrong against Chelsea in 2021. He went against what he had been doing that got him to the final. Do you think he will have learned from that lesson that, the same team, the same game plan, the same attitude and approach that allowed the boys to essentially embarrass Real Madrid in the semi-final, let me just do the same thing? Or will that be dangerous? Because then he'll probably be thinking, that's what Inter Milan will be expecting, that what I did to Real Madrid, I will do in the final. I shouldn't change anything. What does he go with to ensure that he also gets this monkey off his back? Because he's been called a failure for only being able to do it with a Barcelona side that had Lionel Messi. He's been asked to do it with Bayern Munich. He couldn't do it. He's been asked to do it with Man City. He failed in 2021. So what does he then do? Does he play into Inter Milan's expectations of doing what he did at Real Madrid, or does he change it up a bit?
Let me quickly say that I am the one that asked him the question that went viral of not being able to win the Champions League without Lionel Messi. Now, coming to the question, I think that he shouldn't really think out too much. He's been accused of overthinking. I don't think that he will want to do that tonight against Inter Milan. I think, like you said, he would want to maintain the status quo. Same setup, same players, that featured against Real Madrid. I think that beating Real Madrid over 2 legs is a heavy motivation and boost for Man City going into the final. Of course, it can also be dangerous because after beating Real Madrid, they might think that, oh, Inter Milan might be easier. But that could be, a problem. But I don't think that they will want to put that in their minds. They want to face Inter Milan as a totally different team. But again, with same set of players, same setup, but of course, same mentality. I feel that Man City's time has come. It looks like it is written in the stars. I said it even at the start of this tournament, that something tells me that this is Man City's Champions League. And bearing any catastrophe, I think that City will win this Champions League. And it's already looking like that. With all due respect to Inter Milan, I feel that City are favorites. It might be one of the easiest Champions League finals in a long time.
Look, for us football lovers, we can only but hope it is an entertaining one, even if it is going to be an easy one for City. But who does Simone Inzaghi look to? You talk about a catastrophe being the only thing that can stop Man City from winning this title. Who does Simone Inzaghi look to cause that catastrophe? Because, I mean, obviously, the first name that comes to mind is Romelu Lukaku. The second name that could come to mind is Lautaro Martinez. But who does Simone Inzaghi look to and say, this one is the one they least expect, and this one is the one that'll kill City?
There's a guy called Lautaro Martinez of Argentina. He's scored 11 goals in his last 13 matches. He's very important for Inter Milan. He won the World Cup, and of course, he will want to join the list of few players in the world who have won the World Cup and the Champions League in this same season. I think that's a man to look out for Inter Milan. Of course, with the support cast of Edin Dzeko and perhaps Romelu Lukaku coming off the bench, these are players that will be very, very key for Inter Milan because these are big game players. They have got loads of experience. They've been there, they've done that. So they will be very critical for Inter Milan going into this one. And let's not forget, now Africa's Andre Onana. In this case, is Africa's Andre Onana, not Cameroon's Andre Onana. He's kept 8th clean sheet in the Champions League, the best so far in this tournament. So these 4 players are going to be critical for Inter Milan going into this one.
Just before I let you go quickly, Oma, I like to put journalist heads on the block. I like to have them crucify themselves, hang themselves, if you will. A scoreline, please. Prediction.
3-1 in favor of Manchester City.
All right.
Without mincing words.
All right. Thank you very much for not mincing those words. 3-1 is what Oma Akatugba, of course, coming to us from Hanover, is saying. The Champions League final between Manchester City and Inter Milan happening at Istanbul. Kickoff is at 9 p.m.